Hi, dear students. Now, we're going to continue studying about the behavior of the polynomial functions. This is an exercise in Alex that says, determining the end behavior of the graph of a polynomial function. So we're going to determine the end behavior to the left and to the right, okay? We have to choose the end behavior of the graph of each polynomial function that they are giving us here. Look, in the first case, we have f of x equals minus 6x to the third minus 9x to the second plus 5x minus 5. So remember about the degree. We have to focus in the degree of the polynomial function and also in the sign of the leading coefficient. The degree of this polynomial function is a third degree because this is the highest power that we have here in this polynomial. And the sign of the leading coefficient is negative. So when we have an odd number in the degree and also the leading coefficient is negative, remember, dear students, the behavior is raising to the right, raising to the left and falling to the right. Let me show you the explanation that we have here in Alex. Look, as this is a third degree function, this is an odd degree. So look, here we have the two cases for odd degrees. N is taken as the degree. So when n is odd, and the a subindex n is the leading coefficient. In this case, when the leading coefficient is greater than 0, it means that when the leading coefficient is positive. But the case that we have here, look, is minus 6x to the third. The leading coefficient is negative and the degree is an odd degree. So let's go back here to the examples. And here we have n, which is the degree, is an odd number. And the leading coefficient, which is a subindex n, is negative. So this is the case. So as you can see, the behavior is raising to the left and falling to the right. Okay? Right now, I don't want you to think about the roots, just about the behavior of the endings of to the left and to the right. Okay, so in this case, we have to select the option that says raising to the left, raises to the left and falls to the right. Okay, let's see in the last part where we have the solutions. As you can see here, this is the answer. Rises to the left and falls to the right. Now, let's see the second example. It says f of x equals 4x to the 6th plus 5x to the 5th for 4x to the 4th plus 8x to the 3rd. So which is the degree of this polynomial? This is a 6th-degree polynomial. And the leading coefficient, the sign of the leading coefficient is positive. Now remember, this is like the parabola, because the parabola is an even number degree. What do we have when the quadratic function has a positive leading coefficient? The parabola opens upwards. So we have it rises to the left and rises to the right. Okay, so we are going to have the same behavior here. Although this is not a quadratic function, as the degree of this function is an even number, and when we have a positive leading coefficient, look, let me show you the explanation that we have here in Alex. Here, it says when n, which is the degree, is an even number, and a subindex n, which is the leading coefficient, is greater than 0, it means that this is a positive number. We have this behavior. It rises to the left and also rises to the right, as when the parabola opens upwards, okay? So let's see. The option here in the answer, we have to select the option that says rises to the left and rises to the right, okay? Now let's see the last example. And look, we have the function that says 2 times x minus 2 to the second times x plus 4. Here they are giving us the factors, okay? Now, I want you to get from here the degree. This is not difficult, just pay attention. we have to multiply the number 2 that we have here outside the parentheses by the x that we have here inside the parentheses, but this is not an x raised to the 1 power. Look, as all this binomial is being raised to the second power, this x indeed is an x raised to the second power. So we multiply 2 times x to the second. So we have 2x to the second times this other x that we have here in the other factor, and this x is being raised to the 1 power. So 2x to the second times x, this is 2x to the third power. So the degree of this polynomial is a third degree, which is an odd number. And the leading coefficient, as you can see, as this 2 is positive and this x is positive and the other x is positive, the leading coefficient is going to be a positive number. So we have positive 2x to the third. So let's see. When we have an odd number, in this case, odd degree, and also when it is positive, it is this case. N, which is the degree, is an odd, and the leading coefficient, which is a subindex n, is greater than 0, which is a positive number. We're going to have this behavior. It is falling to the left and it is raising to the right. Okay, it falls to the left and raises to the right. Let's see the answer for the last one. And okay, here you have it. Here we have the exercise, and here falls to the left and rises to the right. Okay, which is the behavior that I was showing you here. Falls to the left and rises to the right. Good, dear students. Let me check further. I'm going to look for other example. Show another. So we can see again the behavior. Good. In this case, we have, this is negative 2x to the third. So the degree is a third degree, which is an odd number, and the leading coefficient is minus 2. So without checking the instructions, I want you to think and remember that when we have an odd number as degree, and when the leading coefficient is negative, remember it rises to the left and it falls to the right. Let's see if I am right. Let's see the answer here. Exactly, look, rises to the left and falls to the right. And in the instruction, as this is an odd one, it is this one, okay, the case 2. When n, which is the degree, is an odd number, and when the leading coefficient is negative because it is less than 0, okay? Now, let's see the next one. We have x to the 6th. The degree of this one is a 6th degree, and the leading coefficient is positive. So here we have an even degree with positive leading coefficient. Without checking, I want you to realize, to check, to think, and try to say. Let me tell you. It rises to the left and rises to the right. So this is the correct one. Rises to the left and rises to the right. Okay? Because, let me show you here the explanation. Okay, when n is uneven, and this is positive, when n is uneven and the leading coefficient is positive, it rises to the left and rises to the right. Good. Let's see the last example. And we have for x times x. We have 4x to the second because this x is being raised to the 1 power, okay? And then x also is being raised to the 1 power. We don't have a second power here in the binomials. So 4x times x, 4x to the second, times x, 4x to the third. So we have a third degree function here with a leading coefficient positive because we have positive 4, positive x, and positive x. So as as this is a third degree and the leading coefficient is positive, it is going to it falls to the left and rises to the right. Let me check. Here we have the solution. Look, it is the case number 1. When n, which is the degree, is an odd number because it is the third degree, and the leading coefficient is positive, it falls to the left and rises to the right. Let's check the answer here. And as you can see, we are right. Falls to the left and rises to the right. Good, dear students. I hope it is clear. And if not, you can ask me during the class. Good. Have a great day. Take care. Stay at home. And have a great day. Bye.